This is for all of us, mostly for you guys, because this is my 30th year, August 6, 1982, and I was definitely not this sick, and I purposely did two things. I fixed myself the best I can. I know many of you get sponge bathed. I know many of you get fed. Also, I parted my hair, that from here up into the middle, I had got hit by a semi truck on my side. I was on the passenger side, and when it hit me, the impact was so hard that my head hit so hard that I went through the windshield outside of the car onto the front of the car. And as that happened, I didn't even know I was knocked unconscious. I got to keep my thoughts together. I prayed a lot about this. It's very difficult to do this. It's very painful. So but you're all worth the pain, because you've been through a lot of pain, and some of you are in a lot more worse situation than me, and I don't believe I'm better than you. I just believe that God didn't let me die so that I could tell you some of the things that kept me, okay? So please stay with me. Just because I speak about God, you don't have to believe. I wouldn't force any belief on anyone. It's everybody's choice to believe what they want to. I wanted you to see that, because a fireman told me that I should not have survived that accident. I was about 30 minutes unconscious, and maybe 30 or more minutes unconscious. Now, I left that hospital with my CT scan and MRI normal, which was awesome, because I thought, yay, I am a tomboy big time at heart, and I get to go back to work. I was a waitress already at 16, and I was excited, that everything was okay. Now, what I didn't know, about 2 months after the accident, I was feeling a lot of nausea and fatigue, really bad, and I went back to the doctor, and I told him, the same doctor that let me free the next day at Baptist Hospital, Miami, Florida, and he said that's normal, that when you have a head injury or head trauma, it takes a couple months, weeks sometimes, to recover completely. So I took his word. He's a doctor, and I'm a kid. Even though I really didn't act like a kid, because I was on my own, so I didn't have insurance, and hospitals, it's expensive. If you're doing fine, they just want you, go, bye-bye. Alright, so then I got out. This is, as you guys know, I'll title it, but you already know this is CFS ME, and they're changing the name because, of course, it is a silent suffering, and you guys are suffering in a lot of silence, and I know what that's like. And not only that, it's an invisible disease that many people still don't believe. Many people are in disbelief, especially if you're pretty or a model or you're handsome, or you look fine, or you can take maybe a walk, or if you can walk, you're in worse trouble, because actually, wow, if I didn't have my faith in my heart, I probably would have gone insane. Not just my body sick, but my mind, because I wasn't the prettiest thing ever, but as I showed you in the previous video that I didn't do very well, which a friend of mine, I hope he gets his rump over here. I hope that's right. Okay to say rump. He's going to do a professional one. It takes a lot, you guys know that, to talk, but it's all I got left, so I don't want to waste it. I want to give to you what did I do in 30 years. August 6, 1982 will be, your body's not the same as mine. My body is not the same as yours. When you look at the girl who now is by Washington D.C. recognized, she has mono, and mono resembles a lot like Lyme disease. It's the diseases, the viruses themselves make host in tarot. They go inside the cell and they attach themselves inside. And as they do that, if you don't know, like you got bit by something or you ate something, it could go dormant in your brain and sleep there and be dormant and nothing ever happens to you. You may not get sick. If you have a head injury or head trauma, what happens when I had this head injury, I had 2 viruses already in my body called Coxsackie and Parvo B19, which I got from a fruit bat. I got it from Jamaica, West Indies. There's a plane going by, so I'm going to hold on a second. I hope you can hear me. I hate to come closer because I feel like... Okay, I got it from Jamaica, West Indies. Being that little tomboy at heart, I was like a monkey climbing in the trees and just eating the fruit, the mangoes like crazy. I would sit up in the trees and eat the mangoes right there without cleaning them. I'd eat the peel. I love the peel. I'd eat the whole mango except the seed. I didn't know anything about fruit bats. And Jamaica, West Indies, this is a common thing for them, but it's not in the U.S. Also in Brisbane, Australia, there's also things with the bats. Now, there are so many viruses that all CFS on me is just like icing on a cake. When people say you have CFS, you have CFS is not the actual root. The root is causing the CFS, ME. Now that root can be various viruses, can be Gulf War syndrome, can be PTSD to an extreme, like, you know, when people are traumatized, unless you've gotten help for that ever, you can break down. I mean, your body can break down. I saw a 17-year-old teenage boy. It was a sad thing because he was talking to himself. He was on the bus, and I don't know what happened to him, but I looked at him, and he looked so normal, and he was a precious-looking child. But he had a breakdown somewhere, and I don't know how I didn't, but I give it all the glory to the one upstairs above all the stars in the sky. Some people prayed for me, and I saw it in Romans chapter 8, and I'll just tell you guys that. You don't have to read it. Romans chapter 8 shows that Jesus prayed for us 3 times. 3 times Jesus prayed, and he prayed for us. Can you imagine that? So it's almost like your salvation and your life is not controlled by you. You know, if you guys ever get a chance, listen to the song, Jesus Take the Wheel. And it's a beautiful song. I have it. It's called Jesus Take the Wheel. And I had to let him take the wheel, you know, about September 7th, exact day actually, September 7th, 2007. That's the picture you see in the video where I have like a pinkish shirt and I look a lot healthier. I was actually bedridden in that picture. I had a wheelchair. I threw it in the closet. I refused to use it. Now don't do that. I'm not telling you guys to do that because some of you need that wheelchair. So please, I'm just telling you how I survived this because it might help some of you. Now definitely all of us have to change our diets, and we don't have to go on a diet. If you're skinny, don't go on a diet. It's not that. I eat a lot, and I eat a lot of wheat cereal. Certain people can tolerate milk, certain people can't. I have osteoporosis on my left hip, so I have to drink a lot of milk, and I have to force myself because I'm not that crazy about it. I like chocolate milk, but I can't have sugar, so I don't mind it. I have to eat the wheat cereal without sugar, without the raisins. It's a pain. You have to drastically, when you get this kind of sickness, you have to change your diet. Please, I beg you. It's venomous, seriously. Viruses thrive on sugar, starch, heat. All my flare-ups happen in the heat really bad, and if I dare to touch sugar, I better be ready to go to bed. So, and I hate my bed. I mean, I'm telling you, I wrestle with staying in bed. I hate it. I hate it. And I know you guys do too. I know you have dreams inside that this kind of sickness is, and this is for people that are not sick, that you have loved ones. God, give me breath as I pray. Your parents, your family members, your friends, I know you lose them because you look fine, and they think, oh, get over it, and you got this thing in your body, and it's not in your head, and they think it's in your head, and they're like, oh, that's in your head, just get over it. You know what? I thought they were right years ago. They finally convinced me, well, maybe it is me. Because I was so motivated and on fire. I was a little girl that would race anybody, anything. I don't care how big or tall you were. I even would tell my stepdad's friend, let me race your car, running. I mean, really, like, I'm not going to beat a car. So I didn't take this well when I got sick. And I knew that this wasn't in my head, but I started getting depressed when when they couldn't find out the underlying cause, they said it was depression. Well, I had a lot of reason to be depressed, but that wasn't my persona. That's the thing. Some people have a depressed persona, and I'm not better than them. I had my issues, but it wasn't depression. But I started to go into a deep valley of depression about, let's see, Jasmine's 20. So 1991, I began to say, okay, well, darn it, man, 1982, I'm almost 10 years into this. I can barely walk up the stairs without having asthma. I was built like a bionic woman. I couldn't understand how I couldn't run anymore and ride bike without being short of breath. I ate so healthy. I was excited about life, especially that I had a baby boy first, and I wasn't one of the postpartum depressed moms. I was like, oh my God, this is amazing. Like, he freaked me out. He cracked me up from day one he came out. Seriously, I have a picture to prove that. He gets mad at me. He goes, Mom, how could you laugh at me when I'm crying? I said, I didn't laugh at you because you're crying. You're just so darn cute. I couldn't stand it. I realized, wow, our lives are precious. Our lives are precious. I learned that through my children. And we learn in different ways. Nobody learns the same. I don't know how you're going to learn. I don't know how you're going to find the place where you can stand when you can't get up, where you can say, I'm going to make it, when you feel like you're dying. Your body, people have no clue how you feel. You're not just disabled, you're debilitated. You can't shower yourself sometimes at all. Nurses have to shower you. I know. I'm on the waiting list for a nurse, but I don't want nobody to shower me. I'm sorry. I don't mean that. Like, you guys, if you need it, do it, because I hate being dirty. I love water. I get motivated, and I get frustrated, so I have to remember, I gotta go slow. I gotta pace myself. And today, I did that for you guys because yesterday I had a very stressful day. And I'm not going to mention why and what, but I will tell you I was preparing to do this, and I didn't get to do it. But I prayed, God, you've got to make a way, because these people are suffering in silence, and I have been since 1997 disabled, and I don't want to be. I don't like it. I don't like being inside. And I know you guys that have this disability are not happy with it. This is not the kind of disability that you have a mental handicap or a mental disability and you don't know better. Many of you were doctors, you were policemen, you were firemen, you were teachers, you were secretaries, you worked in places, you were athletes. And suddenly an uninvited guest came in. You never welcomed it, but it made himself come in. Because it's life. It's called inevitable. Things that happen, hurricanes that happen. Where will we stand in the midst? Can't take your lives. You can't. I mean, I can't stop you, obviously. But listen, before the tape is finished, just in case it finishes, I want to say this to you. On your physical level, you have got to take care of yourself. It may not heal you, but it can get you better. And you may get healed, and God does still heal miraculously, and He uses doctors. But even if you don't get healed, He has a purpose and a plan. He does have a purpose and a plan. Sometimes it's to test the rich man's heart. Yes, I saw that story and I was like, wow, I see. The poor. All poor are not sinful. All poor have not in poverty because they're bad or more lower than the rich. No. God has a just weight. There's a just weight. There is truth and there's mercy. He's testing the hearts of every person. Are people visiting you? No. From church, family? I know. No, practically nobody does. But you know something? Forgive them. Forgive them. Because Jesus Christ, if you have never ever sinned, and I'm not saying you're sick because you've sinned, because sometimes we're sick because it's a chosen gift. Believe it or not, you know, I don't want to say this is a gift because I never wanted to accept this as a gift. No, God, this is a horrible thing. But to have the heart that it's built in me for other people and for my enemies, I would do it again. Can you believe that? I would do it again. Because this world, as you can see, it's becoming colder and colder. Jesus said in Matthew 24, in the end of times, sin will abound and hearts will grow cold. Okay. Now, if you turn on the news, people will be ignorant sometimes and say, oh, we've always had that. Really? How come we need more cops? How come we need more soldiers? How come we need more of this and more of that? Because we don't have control. Because God's right. He's right in every word of His word. He's right. He loves you. He loves you. You're not sick because you're not special. You may have been chosen to be tested by somebody. You might save their life through your sickness. Their soul. Now, if you will believe in Jesus, this is His promise to you. John 3:16 says, for God so loved the world, the whole world, prisoners, prostitutes, cops, thieves, murderers, everyone. He loved the whole world, that He gave His only Son, that whoever, He didn't say if you're good or bad, whoever should believe in Him will not perish but have everlasting life. Now see, you need to nourish your body with the vitamins and the food. But when you can't, you've got to trust. You can't give up. And if you don't trust, say, God, help me trust. Teach me to trust. I had to say that. I had to say, please help me. Help me to trust you with this. I can't find an answer. 18 years. 18 years with labs being done on me. 2010, they discovered the virus. Not virus, viruses. I don't believe my voice is for myself. I don't want attention. I don't want money. I don't care. I am telling you the thing that I survived. Sanity and salvation. We have got to be able to stand inside our hearts even when we can't get up. You can't give up. You see, there's a story, if I can say it quickly, about Abraham. He was a rich man, and he went to the synagogue, and he went every Sabbath to the synagogue, and he saw a poor man named Lazarus, and Lazarus lay there with sores, and he was poor, and he just asked for a little bit, if he can have a little bit from Abraham. But Abraham, the rich man, passed him up. You know, he was big-headed. He figured, yeah, you're a low man, you know, you should just get a job, or, you know, you should just, you know, if you had faith. But see, the story means that by the end of the story, Abraham ends up in Hades, in where Armageddon, hell. I mean, I'm sorry to say that, but I have to say the truth, and you don't have to believe it. But that's where Abraham was, and Jesus shows that Lazarus ended up in the bosom, of Abraham in heaven, from the Old Testament. Now, I got that wrong about Abraham being in Hades, so forgive me. Oh goodness, Lord forgive me. But he said there was a rich man. Now I don't know if he said his name, so forgive me. But don't quote me about the name. Now I know the poor man ends up in the bosom of Abraham. That I know for sure. And the rich man ends up in hell, and he reaches up from hell and he says, please just give me a drop of water. Please just give me a drop of water in my mouth. And God says in that story that he said, when you were on the earth and you were rich and well off, the poor was there and you did nothing. His heart was tested. He did nothing. He thought he's so better that he just walked right past him. Well, that happens also with you. It will happen with you. Remember this, that you are a gift. You are a precious gem in the sight of God. It says that you are precious in His sight. Psalm 139 says, He knew you before you were in your mother's womb. He knit you in your mother's womb. I don't know where you are and why, but even if it is because of sin, if you got AIDS, if you got AIDS because you were promiscuous, some babies are born with it and they didn't do anything. Even if it is because of sin, you know what? Jesus, that's why He died. Sometimes people say, I do good, so I'm going to heaven. No. If you do good, doesn't mean you don't think bad. You know, we're all sinners. We have all sinned and fallen short of the glory of God. We all need forgiveness and salvation. You know, 15 years ago, I didn't, those things to me were like touching a glass. I could see the words on the other side, but I couldn't feel them. But now I do. And it's through this suffering. There is some beauty that comes from ashes. Some of you are going to grasp what I'm telling you. Pray. Pray and ask Jesus in your heart. I'm going to say a prayer with you. Suffering in this silence. This is for you and me, our families, our friends, our enemies. Father, in Jesus' name, I come before you, and I just thank you for this day. I thank you for restoring my soul, Lord. Even King David said, "Oh, my soul, why so downcast within me, O my soul?" Father, I thank you that you restore. All we have to do is cry out to you and call to you. Somehow, I don't know how, but you'll reach them who seek you, because a hungry man goes where there's bread. And I just pray, God, that these, you would touch them, each who would listen to this video, not me, not my face, not my words, but go to your word, the word of God. The word of God says in Hebrews 4:12, it is living and active and sharper than any two-edged sword. It pierces through the heart and soul and judges the thoughts and intentions of the heart. So when he comes back for you, he's not coming back for your hairdo or your makeup or your wealth and health. He's coming back for your heart. Revelations 21:4-7 says he's going to wipe away every tear, take away every pain. No more death, no more crying, no more dying. Nothing. He's going to make it all new. Now, he did it once through the flood, but you know what? We remain just as stubborn and sinners. But this time, once and for all, he's going to do it. And it's a long-suffering love. 1 Corinthians 13 says love is long-suffering. And I didn't know what that meant till I had children. I'm telling you, I did not know what long-suffering love was till I had children. Let me tell you, God suffers for all of us. Worse than we suffer for those we love. So don't think he doesn't care. It's just that he's waiting on some. 2 Peter chapter 3 says that don't think that God is slack concerning his promise.